Hello and welcome to episode 151, entitled Positive Communication. What does that mean? It sounds like some sort of Pollyanna, everything's wonderful, feel good all the time. No. Communication consists of essentially two areas: listening and speaking. And they are so closely interrelated. My name is Gary Vierheller, and I'll be your host for what we call the Substance of Living podcast. Today, we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. Listening to the other person. And there's something called active listening that we've talked about in other episodes. I'll give you a brief overview of it right now. Active listening, if I'm the listener, my entire focus is on the information coming. I make no value judgment. I'm listening. I want the speaker to feel comfortable enough to share with me the information. So I make no value judgment. I don't say, oh, that's good, or that's terrible, or why did you do that? No value judgment. I'm open to the communication coming to me. I repeat key words. I ask questions. I'll clarify to make sure I have good information. I'll acknowledge. I'll reflect, which is called mirroring, giving back the information with the emotion. The target is to create an environment in which the speaker feels comfortable to share. That comes from my background in psychology, and my background in counseling, and my background as a constructive living instructor. So listening is an important part of communication. The other part is speaking. Now, positive communication in speaking looks for solutions, seeks answers. And there's a process that I ask myself about when I'm wanting to make sure I'm involved in positive communication. Number one, any fool can criticize. Think about that. Any fool, any child, adult, elder person, they can criticize. I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. Anybody can do that. That's easy to do. No one needs to think about that. Any fool can criticize. But here's part two, it takes imagination and creativity to find a solution. Think about that. Imagination, creativity to find a solution. Now you're a can-do person. You're looking for what can be done. You're looking for answers. And people love working with people who look for answers and look for possibilities. Third, courage to implement that solution. One, any fool can criticize. Two, it takes imagination and creativity to find a solution. And three, courage to implement that solution. Where am I in that process? That's what I ask myself all the time. And then I also look at taking not out of my language. Not is connected to modal or auxiliary verbs. Can, could, should, would, have, did. And then normally there's a regular verb with it. I haven't seen the movie. Have seen. Those are the two verbs. So what you want to do is create a question using those two verbs. What have you seen? I didn't go to the gym yesterday. What did you do? Where did you go? Ask yourself the question using those verbs, and then answer the question. Now you're in a positive. You're talking about, instead of talking about what is not, talk about what is. Talk about reality. And in this way, you'll have more positive communication. Criticism, complaints are good only as long as you have a solution or identifying something that's better than what you're complaining about. That's the key to positive communication. And by you modeling positive communication to your staff or to your friends or to your family, you're going to be encouraging them to be positive as well. It makes the world a better place when you're working with someone who says, well, let's see what we can do. Instead of, oh, we can't do that. let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can make that work. Now your imagination is moving, your creativity juices are flowing, your innovativeness, your inventiveness is starting to motivate you to come up with new ideas. And that's a good thing. It makes your life more interesting, it makes other people's more comfortable and interesting, and you find answers. So here's wishing you positive communication. Listen, 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 and then ask, 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 and then you're set. Thank you, bye. Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcast. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.